and welcome back to the second episode of our podcast. We finally landed on a name. It's gonna be called SanLu After Hours.
Yay.
So, welcome back to SanLu After Hours, and today we have a special surprise for you guys. We have a very important project that we need to talk about, and we brought with us two wonderful and beautiful special guests that can introduce themselves.
Hi, hi. Thank you so much for inviting us. I'm Iman. I'm a fourth year student, and I'm currently the local coordinator too of EMSA, and also the project manager of Effervescience.
My name is Stefani. I'm also fourth year, and I am the vice project manager of Effervescience of EMSA. And thank you so much for having us. We're excited to discuss this project with you.
Okay, Effervescience. That sounds intriguing and interesting. And I want to emphasize the pronunciation because I myself had
Oh
a
yeah,
little bit
also,
of trouble with
yeah,
it.
same, honestly.
Effervescience.
Science.
At least that's how I say it. Everyone can say it to their liking,
Yeah.
but okay. Sounds interesting, but what is it?
So First Science is basically this project in EMSA. It's like a student-led initiative. We organize a lot of events, like there are a lot of conferences, hands-on workshops, panels. Like there are plenty of activities, and also the topics are quite wide. But I think, like personally, the interesting part about it is that you have the chance to discover something that you really don't go through during your lecture time and during just your normal university academic activities. So I think, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we try to organize more interactive events, more about topics that are interesting to us, but we don't usually cover in the regular lectures. And yeah, it's interesting.
So we learn a lot from now about what is Effervescience and whatnot, but a really interesting question: who is it for? Like, who can join, and how does this part of the organization work exactly?
Basically, it's for everyone. I know it sounds very bit cliche, but it's for everyone that has ideas that they want to bring to life. You might be interested in a topic that is related to medicine, but we don't cover it. So it's something that if you have any idea that you can bring to life and make it a bit more creative and more interactive for students, it's you can join as long as you have ideas and stuff.
Okay, so sounds really nice, but I'm still in the fences on it. So why should I or anyone else join Effervescience? What is in it for me?
Okay, so I'll ask you about about this one. I will tell you about the reasons that for which I decided to join it. So probably I would say the first reason was about my CD, because I know a lot of people in our small community, in our university, or in some made of international students. A lot of people want to probably go abroad when it comes to the residency. So I think like having this type of activities in your curriculum plays a huge role, and so that's why I think encourage people to join us. The second reason for sure was the fact that I was just looking for something to do that would enrich me on one hand and make me satisfied on the other. So I really think like when it comes to Effervescience, the cool thing about it is having an idea and then just make sure that that idea would just become reality, right? So I think that was the second reason. And I would say the third reason is the possibility that you really have to connect with a lot of different people, literally scientists, researchers, doctors, it could be anyone. And yeah, someone you want to add something to?
I think for me, it's you meet different people, you meet different like interesting people. For example, we have different researchers, we have different doctors. You meet people, and in a way, you learn a little bit from every single one of them. For me, the reason why I joined is I want to get better at organizing an event on my own, like to have a project and to take it from basically an idea to step by step becoming a reality. So we have a lot of reasons to join.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say also like in general, basically developing those soft skills is definitely something that everybody wants to have, especially if you think about our, future job. You need to have those type of skills. And I think lastly, for me, it's also the chance of being part of a community.
Yeah.
Like to be part of something. Like we are every day here, in San Luigi. We are in such a small place. We don't have a lot to do. So being like kind of building um an environment where everyone can feel like belonging to something. I think like personally it's quite great. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think our team is, we have a really good collaboration between us. Like we can ask a question, someone else can help us with the thing that we're struggling with. So I think there is a very like friendly environment to like help each other bring their ideas to the table.
I find it very interesting how you can find like this sense of community and also like small
Mm-hmm.
projects and everything, and I love it very much
Yeah.
because I also feel the same way in our team, and it brings me so much joy
Yeah, I
seeing
know.
everyone like, I don't know, working together through having the same purpose and building something from
Mm-hmm.
scratch, because it takes a lot of like courage and a lot of like willpower, and I really love it, and I appreciate you guys so much for it. And it's so fascinating, especially the, I don't know, I heard a lot about the new upcoming events that you guys are like gonna so much present right now. And I'm very excited, and I can see that you guys put so much effort, and you're very passionate about it, and I really love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I agree, and I'm sold, so sign me up.
New members. Everyone sign up.
Yeah.
Everyone sign up.
Yes, honestly.
Right now, right now, I'm watching.
Link in the description. Sign up now.
Be part of our amazing community.
So, what are the speaking of the events? So, what are the new upcoming events that you guys have prepared? Because I heard from like a rumor that there's some new events at the end of this month, April,
Ooh,
and
tea.
some the next month, but I don't know anything. It's just a rumor. I would love if you guys can tell me more about it.
I'm gonna start with my event because it's gonna happen on the third or the fourth week. We don't have a date yet of April, and the title is "Women in Medicine: A Conversation on Gender Inequality." I'm very passionate about this topic. I don't know. I think it's an important conversation to bring to San Luigi, and especially for like medical students. And basically, it's a data-driven conversation. We're gonna have a sociologist that has extensive like research about gender segregation in medical training, etc. We're gonna present 5 to 6 evidence-based facts about, like, for example, hostility in the workplace, motherhood, fertility, how hard it is for women to reach leadership roles. And yeah, I think, I don't know if other people will find it interesting, but I want to bring it to light in a way because a lot of people describe gender equality as this invisible barrier that people feel it, but there are not so many terms now to describe it. And with more research happening, you can actually explain the issues that women face. And I like the fact that it's data driven because we are going to show them numbers, and I think the numbers will be shocking. And basically, our event will be, we'll have a guest from the students. For example, how many women are in leadership roles, and the numbers are very shocking, to be honest. And I think it's fascinating.
Very interesting topic. I really like it, especially as a woman myself who's going to be a doctor. I also noticed, for example, during tirocinio, that there were not that much, but like there were some moments sometimes that I could see, especially in surgery at least, that there were like a patient who not necessarily disrespected, but considered the woman not as qualified as a surgeon, for example, as the man. And that was a bit, oh, okay, so it's still happening, even though it's like 2026. And okay, I need to prepare myself for that. And it's very interesting that you're bringing a light to it. Is this one of the reasons why you chose this topic, or what exactly drove you into it?
To be honest, it's exactly the reason. Because I think this is what I said, like people feel it, but we don't really discuss it. For example, with orthopedics, like in Europe, it's only 4% of women. It's a really male dominated specialization, the same way, for example, with urology. And the reason why I really like this topic is the fact that it brings different type of sciences together. For example, it's the way that a patient will talk to you is also a bit cultural. So it's not just the medical training, it's like a lot of things come to play. But another thing that I find really interesting is motherhood that we don't really discuss in medicine. Like, especially in sandwich, we have students that are older, and then we have students that we might graduate at 30. So, for example, women are more likely to decide to not have children than rather than men. So I think that's really interesting that more women decide to remain childless because of their medical training. You know, we have there are so many topics. I don't want to spoil it, but it's fascinating. And my personal reason why I chose this is that a lot of the insecurities that women have before choosing a specialty or during the specialty, we consider them as personal shortcomings. For example, am I good enough to handle motherhood and undergo surgical training? Can I do it? We take it upon ourselves to think, okay, am I worthy of this? Can I pursue this? But the more research I do and the more I see the numbers, I realize it's more like an institutional problem. Like we have systematic barriers that prohibit women to achieve this surgical training or even just working privately or having childcare. For example, a lot of women have to work shifts and they worry about childcare, so they might cut their hours and work part time. There's so many issues to discuss, but I think it will be interesting at least to bring this conversation so students can understand what are the issues. We can advocate for them. We can try to change them because our generation needs it in a way. It's time to start moving a bit the wheel and say, okay, we can be doctors and we can be mothers and we can be researchers and we can be in the leadership roles and we can do it if the system allows us to do it.
So, oh, that's really interesting, and I will be there. So if you want to see me, yeah, you got it. And the
Of course,
third,
everybody's coming for Ata. It's not coming for the topic or
no,
for the guest. It's coming for Ata. Come for Ata, you
yeah,
know?
no paparazzi, please. So on the
Yeah.
third or
He's a
fourth,
celebrity at this point.
in the third or fourth week of April, sign me up. I'm there. But I think something I would like to talk about it as well, and I really appreciate you doing this as well, is I feel like as we exist in a patriarchal society, we don't tend to realize that we want to think like science is just like objective and there's no size or politics to it. But because we just exist and the systems we are in is the patriarchy, we kind of tend to forget that patriarchy exists within medicine as well. And I feel like it's so like I cannot applaud you enough for like, taking the initiative to do something like that, and I am so excited myself, and especially now with the majority of the medical students being women, I think that is exactly the time to push the rhetoric that women are better. uh, so
I
yeah,
love that.
I can't wait for that, and I'm so excited for this. I didn't know much about the event itself, but I'm now so excited, cannot wait. But I hear also there is another event that's gonna happen, and it's as exciting, equally as exciting. And do you want to talk about it?
So the event is Medicine AI Reality Check. It's gonna take place on the 12th of May 2026 in San Luigi Hospital, of course. And before actually going through, I would like to give you a little bit of a background on how this idea popped in my head. So it's been a year since I started like reading these papers about the role of AI in the medical field. And the funny story is that at the time I was also seeing a lot of memes on Instagram, about how pathologists or radiologists will be replaced by the AI. And I was like, okay, but is it really the reality or is there more something to add and to go through? So with that, I just started like looking at different things, and that's when I decided to actually bring this topic in our university because we don't really have the time to like discover about. We don't really have the time to talk about during our lectures. So that's when I decided to contact different guests. There are three guests. There's gonna be an engineer, which is also a CEO of a medical AI startup. There is gonna be a radiologist and a pathologist, so they're probably going to try telling us, no guys, you still have a job. Yeah, we're not gonna be replaced. But
You're safe.
yeah, you're safe. But the good part about it is that you have a multidisciplinary approach. You have different point of views that just comes together and will provide us medical students with a more precise view and more information about it. So we will know. Then what can I say?
Your event is really, really interactive.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a debate at the end.
Yeah.
Where we'll have some statements regarding, for example, who is at fault. Like there, you need to show up.
Yeah, I know, but the cool part about it, as I said, is first of all, you're gonna have different point of views, but they're not gonna be monologues. It's not gonna be a kind of conference only. We're gonna see how AI will work with the different, ECGs or images or anything. I don't want to spoil too much, so you should come to check it out. But and at the end of this, we'll have this, as Stephanie said, mini debate. We will put some like ethical questions or some question about the future of medicine, and the students will be able to kind of give us their view, their point of view. And at the same time, we're going to confront it with the doctors and the guests and then the experts. It's going to be quite nice. I mean, we tried to have a little bit of a debate. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was funny because even when we were discussing it, we had different points of views, and we're like, okay, my brain is
Yeah,
It was
true.
really interesting.
True. Like, do you remember like one of the questions that we were debating?
Yeah, if it is an AI makes a mistake, is it gonna be the doctor's fault or who is at blame? So
Yeah, is it gonna be the AI? Is it gonna be the engineer? Is it gonna be the doctor? Who's
Yeah.
gonna be at blame?
So it's a bit ethical. That's why it's a more
Yeah.
stimulating
So
conversation.
yeah,
Like an ethical question
it could
or
be ethical. It could be about the future of the medical field. It could be about anything. There are gonna be
Can be
quite a
about
lot.
privacy, for example.
Exactly. So, in order to find out,
Show up.
show up. So on the 12th of May 2026, San Luigi Hospital, Centro Didattico.
everything. You got all the informations in that one.
Yeah, I mean, you can also follow us on the.
Of course,
social
follow us
media.
on Instagram and
And
also
social
subscribe to our
media
YouTube
for-
channel.
Oh, and also I forgot to mention about something. At the end of this, you're also gonna have free food and drinks.
Yeah.
I think
Ah,
this is already an enough reason to
Yeah.
show up.
Of
Of
course, yeah.
Mhm.
Also for women in medicine,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
always a free brioche at the end. So at
Yeah.
least show up for the coffee.
Yeah, coffee break.
I mean, the topic is already very interesting, but the
Yeah.
brioche and the food, it's already like
Yeah.
you,
No, we're gonna have a proper
you
buffet.
sold it exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there for sure. I find it very interesting, especially the topic, because I honestly, even myself, I'm having these debates with a lot of people about AI in general and how it's affecting our day to day life besides medicine, And there was a lot of like, as you said, there were memes, and then there was a lot of like influencers or like, I don't know, famous people who were saying, yes, don't go into medical school because you're never gonna have a job afterwards because AI is gonna like steal all your jobs. And then the reality is not there. Like, okay, it's not gonna be 5, 20 years, and I don't think it's gonna be even 100 years because you will need people. And I can't wait to have like the proper arguments to debate that, honestly. So I'm looking forward to your event.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I also say that I think it's gonna be interesting also to see how AI is gonna help us, like how innovation is gonna happen with AI, how
Yeah.
small our jobs will be in the sense that
Yeah.
we will have so much technology and so many like resources that it's exciting.
Yeah, we'll discuss so many things that will actually blow your mind literally, quite literally. So, we're just excited for it and hope to see you there.
That is very interesting. And honestly, I can't wait how in the future we're going to use AI as our tool. And maybe we're going to, like, I don't know. Like, for example, I saw it at least in the OR, how they did it with the robotic assisted surgery. And I'm curious to know how this will even go even further because it's already so interesting and a little invasive. And it's already starting. Like, we're here. The technology is here. So
the future is
the future is now technically, and I love the aspect of new, but not to replace necessarily like the job of the surgeon, the job of pathologist, the job of whoever. It's just to help them get even better at their job, because I feel like that was the whole point. It was never like how the influencer or whoever is saying, oh no, you're never gonna need a doctor, everything is gonna be computerized. But I'm really looking forward to see both of your topics.
Mhm.
But I want to ask you something more, let's say, behind the scenes.
Yeah, we want to know the tea.
We want to know the tea.
Yeah, we're gonna split now. Ooh, I hope.
Yes. We're going to go into a bit more in depth, let's say, because if someone is interested in joining, maybe they will be interested to know what, for example, are some challenges that you guys face while trying to organize these events? Like, was it hard? Did you guys encounter something that you can maybe tell us about?
I think first we can explain a little bit how our team is organized. So we have a lot of independence between choosing the topic. So basically we have a few meetings throughout the year. We schedule them way in advance. So if you want to join, you know exactly which periods we're having those meetings. And during the meeting, we ask each other, do you have a topic that you're interested in, that you want, like what type of event do you want to create? And there's a lot of freedom. So I can choose whatever I want, I can do whatever I want. And if I need any help, I can ask my teammates. But of course, there are some issues. For example, with my topic, it was completely different in the beginning, and I had to adjust because it's hard sometimes if you don't have any contacts. It's really hard to coordinate multiple people. You have to learn a little bit to manage your time and organize it way, way in advance. But besides that, I think it's easy. If you're really passionate about something and you're curious about something, you want to make it happen. So I don't know if we faced any other issues.
Yeah, I agree. Like personally, I feel like if you organize yourself in advance, you do everything on time. It is not about your jobs to do, as we said. Maybe the only thing that was a bit challenging for me was trying to coordinate three different guests, especially when it comes to choosing a date. That where everyone is kind of free. So that it's something that you really have to struggle with, but it's you can do it. So that's
So if you like the topic and you're
yeah,
passionate about it, you can. Yeah, it's interesting at the end of the day. It's not a joke.
yeah. It's not like it takes a lot of time, like especially if you're passionate about it. So it's something that you would do with pleasure actually. So yeah.
I can understand organizing. It's always a challenge. Also for us, we like had a lot of problems organizing. Sometimes when we had guests, they couldn't show up at the time, and I can completely understand that. But I'm really like I like it very much that you guys are so passionate about the topic that you're presenting that it doesn't even matter the challenges that you're going through because the purpose is way bigger than whatever problem or issue you encounter. I like it very much. Now I want to move to more personal because here at the SanLu After Hours we like the to
Overshare.
we like to overshare. Yeah, exactly. We like to overshare. We like to, I don't know, bring light to like the personal medical student experience outside of just studying and I don't know, classes, tirocini and whatnot. We want to go more into like how we deal with certain stuff, what expectations do we have, and stuff like that. You know.
So we're gonna ask you about your situation.
Of course, we're gonna ask you some personal question because both of you guys are in fourth year. You're already like experienced a little bit with what medical school it's like. So I would like to ask you one interesting thing. What would you tell your younger self before starting med school?
I can answer first. I think for me, I would say to myself to trust myself more. I think in the beginning, I was very lost on how to study, how to manage everything, how to take care of myself at the same time. And I wish I trusted myself more in my decisions, how I move in general. Like, I think it's normal sometimes to look around and like compare yourself, okay, this person is doing this and the other person is doing that, I should do this. But at the end of the day, each person is very like individual and very unique. So I would say trust yourself, your choices, and do what's best for you. That's what I would say to myself, I think.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Um, I would say the same to my younger self. Would say like keep pushing, and everything you're doing right now is will eventually be rewarded. So that's the most kind of easy advice I would give to anyone who's in med school. Is that just keep going, and eventually things will, will happen. It just work. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us and giving us the honor And I think it was a really interesting talk, and I think myself I learned a lot about FRV science because I had many questions, and I think most of them are now answered, and I cannot thank you enough for that. And I'm so excited to be there and then learn. For anyone that is interested, which I would assume all of you, you can find relevant information in the description or in any of our social media platforms, and I can't wait to see you there. And I want to ask just one little tiny question to our guests if they have anything else they want to share, any last words, anything like that.
Thank you, first of all, so much for having us. It was a great opportunity for us to explain what we do and also share a bit our passions and stuff. If anyone wants to join us, the team is very welcoming. We help each other. And I think it's a really interesting team to just bring ideas to life. And if you join us, I think you have nothing to lose besides like a lot of things to gain. So thank you so much for having
Yeah,
us.
exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you. Bye
bye. See
bye.
you next time.